Welcome to LA, the land of money schemes and palm trees, traffic jams, credit scams, and lost dreams. We moving on up in the world like elevators and skyscrapers, stepping over you haters to something bigger and greater. The mob stater, pimps, players, and alligators, saving the flavor of now, never thinking of later. We need to educate you. This is love, not hate you. Ever berate you. Bring it back to your nature. Land of angels, calm man, working the angles, the change dangles, sparkle just like Star Spangled. Poverty strangles, get them living the painful. Hot pursuit of the bankroll, got us twisted like ankles. LA, big city of dreams, fake hustlers, crack addicts and fiends, $300 chains, and them cars that blanket saves. All too real, but it's just a dream.
Can't find peace of mind in the cold world. Can't seem to shake these chains and these chains.
Braveheart medicine, gladiator fetishes, carry opposition on my back, Jerome medicines, angelic section them, true disciple, not concerned with paper and gold, bury me in principle, invincible, perfect soul, surrounded by bricks and buildings, conflicts and killers, decisions made by villains instead of us the realest, justice being cap pillars, no lie, the sky is falling so niggas walk with the ceilings, Israelite fuck civilian, truth be 1 in a million, hard to find like peace of mind inside of the killer, niggas is lost sheep, but these streets make them gorillas, so I keep my eye on their eye like a Vegas cordilla. It seems definitely sweet to the life that's so bitter. Too much time to cry, so I caterpillar with the letters until I become the butterfly.
Can't find peace of mind in the cold world. Can't seem to shake these chains and these chains. Material things.
I'm in rough waters with a stream of knowledge, and I ain't talking about college. I'm with the violence, the wildest, rejected for a history of violence, downtrodden and forgotten, the car jocking and club hopping, the Dennis Rodmans, the brumheads from Martin, the Ken Fogels, get rolled, ready to pull a make for a washcloth and soap, with no hesitation, banished to reservations, and lost the will to be patient, blind dating with the demons of Satan, the projects with the liquor stores next door and the churches adjacent, dipping in the Chevy, lead foot kinda heavy, and the cops are chasing, NASCAR you think you're racing, hit the brakes and start swerving, public housing equipped with the roaches are burning, fell in love with a hood rat and she left you burning, and that's the life, guerrilla warfare, pack a strap or a knife to make it out of here.
Can't find peace of mind in the cold world. Can't seem to shake these chains and these chains. Material things just ain't enough for me. 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 No. These chains and things. These chains and things. These chains and things. These chains and things.
Shabbat Shalom. Here we go. All praise, honor, glory to the Most High. Yahweh Shai. It's your brother IQAhmath. First name IQ is all the same. You reach another episode, DSTM. You know what time it is. You know why you're here. All praises. Salute to the families in the house, man. Everybody that's been in the comment boards, man. Saluting the saints as the scriptures pronounce that we should do. All praises, man. Shabbat shalom to all of y'all that's been faithfully checking in, man. And you see the title of the video, man. While you were distracted, this is happening. A lot of our people are being caught up with multiple distractions that's out there, man. That's one of the main tools of Satan, is to utilize distractionary methods, man, to take and draw away the attention of the sheep. Remember, we're sheep. The sheep easily get led astray, right? That's why we're lost. So there's always methods that gets used to put our attention to things that may not have the greatest of importance as it pertains to your salvation and mine. We've had inner turmoil going on within our community. We've had, everybody caught up with their own particular issues in life, because these are things that's being thrown at us, be it financial, be it plague, disease, be it governmental, be it family issues. This is that time of season. We made mention of it for decades now regarding how the Spirit of the Most High works in seasonal times. And in particular, this is the season of the lifting up, the rising up, the new growth of Abib. So again, like I said a couple weeks ago, this is the beginning for some, the end for others. Leaven is going to be shown and exposed. This is the time of malice, wickedness, and all of those things are going to be rising up. Character check. You understand what I'm saying? This is that time. That song, I was just sitting back, like having a memory moment. That song was called California Dreaming. And I thought it was kind of fitting based upon the distractions that are put before us, from sports, athletics, to you name it, right? I'm guilty just like anybody else. I watch sports on my free time when I have opportunity, but it does not take a hold of me like some. I'm not a quote unquote fanatic anymore. I'm not a fanatic, right? It's strictly entertainment at this particular time, because we need time to unwind. We need a little bit of a deprogramming, or not necessarily deprogramming, but we need a little bit of unplugging at some particular point in time, right? Even Yahweh Shai said, man, I need to get our way into this wilderness, man, and just take a break from the people, take a break from everything that's going on. Not saying he was out playing ball and all of that, but we see moments and times where you got to have a rest period. That's why the Most High gave us a Sabbath. So, but you cannot allow these things to become distractionary methods, man. It takes away your focus away from the real things that are at hand, right? California Dreaming, we were just talking about the things that California presents itself as, this utopia of palm trees, and everything is great and lovely and fun, and the weather's great, and Disneyland, everything, right? But then we highlight also the ugliness of this place. And there's a comedian called what's his name, George Carlin, and he said the American dream is what's he say? Basically he was saying that the American dream is exactly that, because you got to be asleep to believe it. I made mention of that before, and that's exactly what the world presents itself as, this big old dream. And the only way that you're going to believe in this dream is you got to be asleep. And we're awoke people now. All praise to the Most High. And like I said, I'm sitting back thinking about that song. We did that song like 20 years ago. And I'm dating and aging myself, but it is what it is, man. As a youngster say, we got receipts on who was doing music for Israel first. If we had access to, YouTube and all this other stuff, man, it'd be more well documented. But I got the receipts. You dig what I'm saying? Just that alone, that was 20 years ago, and that was the last album that we did. Wow, how time flies. Man. Enough about that, man. Hopefully everybody is well, man, on this blessed day of the Lord. Got a lot to talk about as usual, man, and we're going to get right to it. Hit that like button, man. If you haven't, did your due diligence and did your brother that's solid by wiping your feet, man, shame on you. Don't let me check. See, I'm about to check. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, we're close. Good enough. I remember you said, yeah, and it's still on point. All praises. Yeah, that's how it goes, man. But salute to the families in the house, man. All of y'all that checked in, man. Shabbat shalom to all of y'all. Prayerfully, everybody had a blessed uh, Memorial and Feast of Nicanor in Purim. We had a beautiful time this week. In the midst of all the madness, the Lord still gives us days of memorial and remembrance to remind us of the victory and the deliverances that the Most High has always given his people, always given us faith builders to keep going. With all the turmoil that goes on in the earth, that goes on in our personal lives, we always have to go back and reflect that the Most High has got our back. So long as we remain faithful to him, that's the key points. It's a two-way street. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it don't come on a one-sided effort where it's always give. How will give me more? Give me more. I need. The Most High is like, no, you owe me, right? I chose you. You didn't choose me. That's what Yahweh Shai even told us. Let's get that real quick. That's in John 15, right? Yeah. Let me share correctly. John 15. Let's pick that up right here, verse 16. Yahweh Shai told us, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit. So, we didn't make these particular choices in our lives, man. I give a brief little testimony about my journey in the truth. I for sure was not looking to be a Bible thumping so-called Jew, black Jew. You know what I'm saying? When in my youth, when I was running around in the streets and doing my thing as a typical Negro lost in the world was doing, I definitely was not looking for this. But this is how I can attest to this testimony that Yahweh Shai spoke truth to power for real. When he said, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you. So we've been given a certain amount of authority and power and understanding and knowledge and wisdom to bear that burden and then to go out and get the fruit of Israel. You understand what I'm saying? Revelation 21 tells us that there were 12 manner of fruits based after each tribe. We're going out and getting the fruit, and that your fruit should remain. That whatsoever you shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. So it's a reciprocal thing. We have to work for it. And now when we need more, when we need help in achieving those goals, we ask the Most High to help us achieve those goals, that he may give it to you, right? You don't beg and cry to the Most High because you want a Tesla. What's that got to do with you bringing forth fruit and that fruit should remain? Father, I need to get my nails done, and I pray that you give me the extra money in my paycheck so I can go get. What does that have to do with you going out and getting the fruit? Like the vanities that present themselves, man, we have to make sure that those things take a backseat to the main objective that we've been ordained to do, is to go get the fruit and secure the fruit that it remains. Hopefully everybody gets that. All right. Let's get right to it. Let me start up at the top of the list. What's going on here? All right. So we noticed that there's been, everybody knows, and I've been talking about it for the last few weeks, about this whole peace deal, or ceasefire, I should say, that's been put on the table, right? And apparently it's been blowing up in the faces of Esau as he, portrays, in particular, Donald Trump, portraying himself to be this peacekeeper, this peacemaker, this guy who says, I'm the only one that can stop this war. He's taken on that mantle. He's pridefully, hold on, let me get that scripture out there. In Proverbs. Let me just pull this up right here. Proverbs 16:18. Everybody knows this, right? Pride goeth before destruction. The so-called white man, in particular, Donald Trump, Agent Orange, number 47, right? has pridefully been prancing around like a brand new peacock, man, along with his sidekick, Elon Musty, uh, how much they're transforming the face of America. It's all them. It's Doge. It's, Trump, my administration. This, he's constantly quoting, this war would have never happened if I was president. Well, when he said in November 5th, when I become president, day one, he's going to stop the war within 24 hours. Here we are 3 months in. I ain't seen jack squat of that promise. Right? There's been more chaos, more destruction. The economy has gotten even worse. And he can't double back and be like, oh, well, it's because of slow Biden. No, you coming in with all these budget cuts, these layoffs, these mass firings, these reconstructions of the economy, these tariffs. That these are all things that are becoming more destructive. And I think there was a quote. One of these reporters asked him, was he concerned about a recession and inflation? And he was like, no, it's, basically, I'm not worried about it. It's not going to affect him. No, it's not, because he's a multi-billionaire and he's rubbing elbows with multi-billionaires. They ain't worried about egg prices. They ain't worried about their farmlands being, being rolled over because, the farmers can't afford to cultivate and bring up agriculture. They ain't worried about having, a Dollar General closing in their local neighborhood, and they don't have access to, other places in these food deserts. Of course, they ain't worried about it. They just go and destroy, collect, colonize, conquer. While you, me, and anybody else suffers the consequences. They asked that dude, man, is he worried about it? He's like, nah, I'm fine. Everything's going to be fine. We're all going to make a lot of money. Who's we? You and me ain't included in that we. We don't speak that French. You feel me? So he knows who we talking about. We'll be okay. Everybody's going to be rich. No, we're not. So as he's been parading around talking about how much he's going to stop all of these wars, it's all based upon his pride. And what happens when pride is inserted? Yes, destruction. And a haughty spirit before a fall. So this is how we know that the end of America, as we know it, is starting to slowly decline. We see the economy, stock markets have not recovered, and they're bleeding out. All the major investors, they talking about, what's his name? Warren Buffett, who's like the godfather of stocks and trades and all of that. This dude is selling off all of his he's selling off massive amounts of his real estate portfolios. He's been selling his stocks like crazy. Why is he running? What's he bailing out from? Maybe he knows there's imminent destruction financially that's coming. Poverty is going to be raised up. All of these things is going to be based upon the destruction because of the proud nature in which the so-called white man is trying to rule. He thinks he's got to figure it out. He's the end all be all. Remember some years ago when he got elected in 2016? He said, I'm the chosen one. He's the anointed, man. And you get all these damn MAGA hat Bible Belt evangelicals, man, who parade around him and put their hands on him and act like they're anointing him, and these damn Negro preachers bootlicking, knuckle dragging their way to the White House, claiming that they're gonna, in the National Black Caucus, putting their hands on him, trying to anoint and pray over him. He really thinks he's that. You understand what I'm saying? So because of all of these follies that's been going on, now you see the whole blow up that happened within the White House between him and Zelensky. Zelensky ran to Europe, begged them for help. NATO was like, okay, we got your back, don't worry. Then he doubled back and went to America and said, I'm ready to talk peace, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Results of that is this. The U.S. resumes military aid and intelligence sharing as Ukraine says it's open to a 30-day ceasefire. Now, part of this whole ceasefire deal was, it more or less was giving them 30 days to regroup, man. Get the military aid and some money back from America and NATO so that they can resume the war. let's not fool ourselves in thinking that this was a quote unquote peace deal. No, there's a difference between a peace deal and a ceasefire. The ceasefire was only for 30 days. So, for the Christians, anybody else out there, the peacekeepers, the tree huggers, we need peace on earth. Trump is making good on his promise. No, he's not. The forked tongue of that damn white man is continuing just like all of his predecessors. He lied. Number one, he ain't stopped the war. Number two, the first thing that he is talking about is creating a 30-day ceasefire. All that it is, you go to your corner, calm down, regroup, and then after 30 days, y'all can get back to it. And we're going to go back and continue helping Ukraine. So it didn't really, early on, they were trying to make it seem like, oh, Russia, Putin, and Trump are becoming best buddies. And, they might, no, not really. Not really. So look here. The Trump administration lifted the suspension of military aid and intelligence sharing for Ukraine, and Kiev signaled that it was open to a 30-day ceasefire in the war with Russia. I'd be open too if I was getting my butt whooped. I'd be open to, regrouping, taking a quote unquote timeout. You ever seen a fight or been in the fight and you getting your ass whipped and somebody, you say, hold on, time out, hold on. I remember as a youngster, I remember, long story short, two of my homeboys got into it, and one of them, he was getting the short end of the stick. And at one point, my homeboy, one of them socked the other one, gave him a good one in the eye, and he said, hey, hold on, time out. And my other homeboy was like, time out. And we had to, break it up. But there's no timeouts in this one. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like, what's the name? Anybody that watched that Tank fight with Roach a couple weeks ago, and Tank Davis took the knee. He basically like, time out. I need to ceasefire. I need to regroup. And he said he got hair grease in his eye. That's all that this is. It's a pause because Ukraine needs to regroup. And Russia's like, how does that serve me? Like, that doesn't help me. Hell no, I'm not signing on damn ceasefire. Bombs away. And matter of fact, they were open to the ceasefire the day after they had just let off like multiple drone strikes on Russia. So it was almost like, let me get my last lick in, and then we can talk ceasefire. You think Russia was going to be like, man, you just bombed the hell out of the Kremlin. Like, what? Now you want to talk ceasefire? No. We got to get our get back. So this is all just kind of like a little rules, man, to make it look like, there's progress going on. So the administration decision marked a sharp shift from only a week ago when it imposed the measures on an apparent effort to push Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to enter talks to end the war with invading Russian forces. So that didn't go as planned, right? Now look at it. Donald Trump issues a grim World War III warning if Ukraine peace fails. You can see multiple videos and articles of him now echoing this particular point. And if y'all remember, man, there was a video, I couldn't find it, but there was an interview where he said there are some prophets out there that are talking about where we're getting ready to enter World War III. Does anybody remember? Ashar, you good at the archives, man. If you can remember, you find that link that Donald Trump said there are prophets out there that are speaking about World War III and the end of the world. Who else is doing that besides the Israelites? They know that you see the average Christian street preacher, they out there talking about peace and love. Jesus loves you. Come on over here, John 3:16. They ain't talking about the things that the prophets and the pedigree of the prophets do in Jeremiah 28:9. They ain't doing that. Prophesying against countries, kingdoms of wars, pestilence, disease, they not doing that. There's a viral video, man, of a damn Moabite out preaching and a transformer transmission pulls out a gun on him. And he was trying to rebuke him, telling the man a man should be a man, not a woman, and the transformer pulled out on him. And he said, I still love you. I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna be the good Christian. Like what? That's what the street evangelicals are doing, which are trying to emulate the Israelites. You ain't see them damn Christians out on the streets until the Israelites have been out there. The Israelites been out there since the 70s on up. Christian street preachers started riding on the bandwagon like, oh, we need to do that like that too. The Jehovah's Witnesses, they was going door to door. Now you see them standing at bus stops and they don't preach. They stand there and hand you comic books, pamphlets. So who else were these prophets that Donald Trump was speaking about? Bayan, you remember that? I couldn't find the particular interview or whatever, but okay, I got one witness. Can I get an amen? Somebody else out there? Does somebody else out there remember that, man? Throw a 7 in the chat if y'all remember that. That I'm not tripping. You understand what I'm saying? Like, let me know. Me and Bayan, are we the only two that seen that, witnessed that? I mean, are we the two lost sheep who misunderstood the video? Maybe we didn't see it. Bayan, okay, yeah, we know we know we saw it. Now, who else? Were we the only two that was fortunate enough to see that demon say that? Either way, here we go. Let me see this. Let me let him speak.
We're helping Ukraine like nobody's ever helped Ukraine before. And I can say this, if I didn't become president, Ukraine would right now still be at a level where there would be no even thinking about a peace. And it was, it's a sad thing that this happened. This would have never happened.
Notice, you see the pride? If I was president, this would have never happened. Ukraine, there wouldn't even be talks about peace. But there still isn't. You can talk about it, but that don't mean it's happening. Nothing has changed. He's acting as if, he got up in there. The conversation. So what a conversation of peace is happening. Didn't the scripture say, man, when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction happens? That's in Ezekiel 7:19, I believe. 1 Thessalonians 5:20. 1 Thessalonians 2nd. No, 1 Thessalonians 5:2. Hold on. Let me get that one in Ezekiel. Not 19. Yeah, 19. I mean, Shalaki, Ezekiel 7. Let's read 25 on down. It says, destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. So war and destruction is already happening. They're seeking peace, and there shall be none. This also mirrors, 1 Thessalonians 5:2. Mischief shall come upon mischief. So we're constantly seeing massive mischief. He's talking about arming the troops and getting ready to go seize the Panama Canal. What's all this peace talk, right? He's talking about trying to go and strong arm Greenland. He's talking about trying to make Canada the 51st state. I mean, he's out here bullying nations, and he's talking about how much he's for peace. I mean, what kind of lies is he trying to spin? Mischief upon mischief, all of the activities that's going on within the government, all the budget cuts, all the Doge scandals that's happening. We're gonna look at all of that today. Okay, so I got a couple more witnesses, man. The Quab in the house. Okay, Uziel or Hashemai, she seen it. All right, Shalai. All right. We got some fellow believers in here. Hallelujah. Did y'all seen it too, man? He said, hey, there's some prophets out there that are talking about well, guess who that is? He's got his intelligence committees and everybody, man. They combing through every inch of social media in the whole line and reporting back to him. You think his old ass is sitting on there watching YouTube videos of Jake's teaching? No, they telling him that the Israelites are rising up. They're flooding in, and man, people are being converted and back to their ways. They're learning their nationality. They're prophesying. They're talking about war. Man, this is getting serious. The Lord's people are waking up, sir. Don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. I'm the chosen one, remember? I'll go ahead and make sure I take care of all of this. Little does he know he's being utilized as a puppet of the Lord. Verse 26 again, mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priest and counsel from the ancients. So yeah, when our people during our Babylonian captivity were looking for answers, the Most High shut off the visions and allowed destruction to happen. Now, in modern day Babylon, remember the Lord said everything is cyclical, nothing new under the sun. We see our people out there looking for false prophets who are diminishing the law. They're looking for they're not looking for the old paths. They're looking for new ways, new inventions. They're looking for the new thing, neglecting the old. And that's where we end up having all these issues. Mischief shall come upon mischief, rumor upon rumor. So that's what we're experiencing right now. So let me get back to this video, because we just seen him live talking about if he wasn't president, they wouldn't even be talking about peace. You can talk about it all you want to, but ain't nothing coming of it.
And it was it's a sad thing that this happened. This would have never happened, this war, if I were president. Zero chance.
Now he's putting himself in the hands of the Most High. If he was president, this would have never happened. Give me a damn break. He does not know and didn't understand that this was all prophesied of the Most High. He's saying, I could have stopped the prophecy of the Lord. No, you couldn't have. At all.
And I will say this also, it could lead to World War III if it's not solved. There'll be a point at which it's not going to stop at those two countries. Already there's such involvement from other countries. And it could really lead to a very big war, World War III. And we're not going to let that happen either.
He has no control over that. He swears he's going to be, we're not going to, you don't have a damn choice. You're already in the mix. Now you see him, you can see multiple videos of him talking about World War III, World War III, World War III, World War III. If we don't do this, if you don't listen to me, if we don't stop, yeah, you can forget about it. So look here, Donald Trump issues a grim World War III warning if Ukraine peace fails. The U.S. president said a global conflict would be, quote, a war like no other, but said he was, quote, in pretty good shape and signed a peace deal with Vladimir Putin and end the war in Ukraine. That doesn't happen, and he's lying. Now notice where he says, this is going to be like a war like no other. Well, who said that first? Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. Let's not get it twisted. The archangel Michael, the heavenly host, are only standing for the children of thy people, who is Israel. That goes without saying. This war, this fight, everything is boiling down to it being for us. The liberation is not for the nations and the Gentiles and everybody else. The liberation ain't for the animals, the earth. They will reap the benefits of the children of Israel being put back in our rightful position, and the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High will be ruling the earth rather than this false democracies that the so-called white man has came up with, which borrows from certain elements of biblical principles and then twists it into his own ideologies and thoughts. Now it continues and says, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. This is why we're trying to put, as my brother Aladad always says, works on the books, because we're trying to get our name in that book of life. We're trying to make sure that our name is solidified and that there isn't an erasure done, because, this book is getting written, man, but it could be written with an erasable marker, erasable pen. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you fall off from the faith, you deny the faith, any particular reason, man, the Most High can take us out. And it's always been said, man, the Most High doesn't need any of us at all. Remember, he told Moses, man, I can create another nation at the rock and you can lead them. I don't need these people. And Moses had to, humbly remind the Most High, Lord, remember the covenant that you made with our forefathers. Now you can't do it. That's when the Most High said, yeah, you know what? I wasn't serious about that, but I'm gonna make an example out of a lot of them. Thousands of our people died in that wilderness. Remember, the only ones from that initial generation that made it forth was Caleb and Joshua, and the third and fourth generation. The originals that left out of Egypt did not make it. So this is what it is. Trump is over here talking about it's going to be worse than anything we've ever seen. Well, guess what? The Lord said that first. He said it's going to be trouble such as never since there was a nation, even to that same time. So look at it and add it up. You want to talk about Vietnam? No, they can't match. Afghanistan can't match. Gulf War can't match. World War I, World War II can't match. All of the holy wars of the Crusades, the Christians against Muslims can't match. That's how serious, that's how dangerous that these times are going to come up on. This is what we have not seen. There's nothing we can compare it to. You can watch all the Star Wars episodes, anything you want, but it does not match. We can't, we can't pull it up. Okay, it's going to be a problem in trying to create a method or avenue. Oh, it was on. Okay, my archivist, Ashar Rawak, came up with it. It was on. Look like Joe Rogan. Prophets say world will come to an end in the Middle East. So, yeah, he said it on the Joe Rogan interview. I don't have time to look for it, but good looking out on that, Ashar. He sent it to me. If you can, throw it in the chat if possible. I don't know if they'll let you paste it. I don't know how YouTube StreamYard works when you do that. But that was the article. That was what I was talking about. He got that from his Joe Rogan interview. But when Trump was talking about the prophets are going to talk about the end of the world, going to come through war in the Middle East. But nonetheless, here he is again, quoting, being utilized as a tool, saying something that's biblical. He don't even know, but he's right. When he's talking about these global wars and multiple nations coming together for a fight, he said it's going to be like no other. Yeah, that's true. That's what the scriptures say. Let's move on. I don't know. Hold on. Some of these might be. Yeah, I don't need this one right here. Give me 1 second, y'all. I gotta fix it on the fly. Fix it on the fly. Why is this thing not coming down? All right, Shalaki, y'all. Let me get back over here. So, moving on, right? You say you did? I don't see it down here. You say you try to put it in the chat? Yeah, I don't see a link to it. Let me see. Yeah, I don't see no link pasted up in here, man. But it is what it is. When I gave the reference, it's okay. I'm always just strictly for trying to at least prove and show where I'm coming from. But don't worry about it, brother. Appreciate it. It's all to the greatness of the Lord, all to the good. Let me get back and share my screen again. They probably took it off, man. I don't know if it's YouTube, but YouTube probably is restricting what you're able to share in a comment. Because I think because of like spamming, bot accounts and all that other stuff, they kind of tightened up on links and things that are being put on videos that lead to other content. So I think it's a YouTube thing. So don't worry about it. It's all good. What was it called? Observer World. It's all right. It's on this Joe Rogan interview. Anybody wants to see it, go. You can go on YouTube, find Donald Trump Joe Rogan interview, you'll hear him say it. It's not that big a deal, but not to you, Ashar, but I'm just saying for myself. Where you can find it. All right. Moving on. So based upon all of that, he's talking, right? What is this leading to? Russia launches air attacks on Kiev and Kharkiv hours after Ukraine says it's ready to accept ceasefire. So there you have it. That was their answer to that ceasefire deal. More bombs. So Russia clearly ain't with it. So Trump is saying, look, if we don't get this thing solved, it's trouble for the world. His greatest efforts right now have been failing. So what does that lead us to understand? That the will of the Most High, the same prophets that he talked about, that there's going to be war in the Middle East, that's going to lead to the, World War III, end of the world, are correct, and he's wrong. Russia launches air attacks on Kiev right after this ceasefire. That's why I said, right before that ceasefire deal, the day before, Ukraine launched multiple attacks on Russia. Then they say, okay, we're ready for peace now, or we're ready to talk ceasefire so we can get some more weapons and more intelligence sharing with America. Because remember, after that blow up with Trump and Zelensky, they cut off the power. They hit them with they ceased the intelligence sharing. They cut off the money flow. And that's what made Zelensky double back, like, oh, you know what? Hold on. Let's talk ceasefire, but let me get one last lick in. Boop. Okay, let's talk ceasefire now. And Russia's like, huh? You what? You crazy. It's not going down like that. So they bombed back. Ukraine said it was ready to accept an immediate 30-day ceasefire. See, after they bomb one more time, then they're like, okay, we're ready. No. Let me see. Yeah, this was what this says today. Russia and Ukraine exchange drone strike. I want to see the one. Yeah, see this? Ukraine war news, air attacks exchanged amid ceasefire talks. Here go the one, Al Jazeera. Ukraine targets Russia's Moscow ahead of ceasefire talks. So the attack came ahead of Ukrainian U.S. officials meeting in Saudi Arabia to discuss a ceasefire deal with Russia. See that? They bombed on them right before they wanted to talk ceasefire. You think Russia's supposed to take that on the chin and just be like, oh, you got me. Okay, let's talk peace now. I'm cool. Like, are you crazy? That's not going down. So of course Russia got their get back, and it's not going anywhere that the chump thinks that it is. Look, Trump said he now hoped Vladimir Putin would reciprocate. If the Russian president did, it would mark the first ceasefire in more than 3 years since he launched his full-scale war in Ukraine in 2022. Hours after Ukraine's declaration, Russia launched an air attack on Kiev. Yeah, because they had to get back. With Mayor Vitaly Klitschko saying air defenses were engaged in repelling the strikes. Strikes were also reported by the RIA news agency in Kharkiv. RIA cited the Ukrainian Ministry of Digital Transformation, which said air raid alerts were issued. So destruction is happening. Then they want peace. It ain't happening. Right? That's according to the scriptures. Ezekiel, we just got to reading that. Moving on. Vladimir Putin makes a ceasefire decision and gives Ukraine a chilling, quote, surrender or die ultimatum. That's his form of a ceasefire. Give up or we just going to pound you out. Give up or we're going to pound you out. Vladimir Putin broke his silence on the proposed 30-day ceasefire in Ukraine. So was that the deal? You know? But that's how the white man operate. You know, we know from what is it, Psalms 55 and 20. And and 21. He hath put forth his hand such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. You know, that's how they operate. You know, when the so-called white man sets up peace treaties and tries to set up covenants with the Native Americans, how did that work out? Every peace treaty that they formulated, they broke. The Trail of Tears, the mass destructions of multiple indigenous communities, smallpox, whooping cough, yellow fever, germ warfare. And they say, oh, no, we come in peace. And we're here to help you guys. But we're going to need you to move off this land or we're going to kill you. You know, I don't know if anybody saw that Netflix series called America. What was the name of it? Dang. American. Dang. Shoot. I made mention of it before. If anybody remember which one I'm talking about, throw it in the chat. There you go. Primeval, American Primeval, or Prime Val. I don't know how to pronounce that one. But this is much of what was going on. Very good series. And it's talking about the conquering of the West in Utah, how they, you know, the so-called white man was operating under the Mormons, the American civil, you know, the civil army. And then they had the Native Americans that was there, the Utes and what was the other tribe that was over there? I forgot the other tribe, but if anybody's seen it, check it out. Just as a side note, because that kind of description brought that back to my memory. But this is how he operates, man. So here they are talking about, oh, we want, you know, let's talk ceasefire. Meanwhile, they're still bombing each other. Smoother than butter. We're ready to talk peace. We're ready. No, you're not. Because there's still war in his heart. Because what? The results of those ceasefires was to get them back into getting military intelligence from the U.S., getting more weapons, getting more money. All they were doing was thinking about more war. The ceasefire, again, was just a pause in the action. And that's how he operates, you know. Again, ask the indigenous communities how that worked out. As they thought, oh, he was coming, you know, putting one hand out to shake his hand with a knife behind it, his back with the other. So that's how this thing is all moving. So we got to keep those things in mind, right? So, you know, Putin came flat out and was like, oh, you want a ceasefire? Okay, the only way that's happening is if you surrender. Otherwise, I'm going to keep bombing you till you die. Putin has said Ukrainian troops involved in a counteroffensive will have to, quote, surrender or die before he agrees to a ceasefire. Russia today rejected a proposal for a 30-day ceasefire drawn up by the U.S. and Ukraine after a 9-hour meeting in Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. Asked about the ceasefire at a press conference alongside Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko, Putin thanked Donald Trump for trying to get a deal done, but suggested he would not agree to it in its current form. He said, quote, we agree with the proposal for a ceasefire to cease hostilities, but we proceed from the fact that this ceasefire should lead to an enduring peace and should remove the root causes of this crisis. So you see where Putin is saying. He's saying, look, I see through the BS. This is just a ceasefire so that you can get your little lapdog, Ukraine, rearmed up to come fight some more with us. I don't see long-term peace in this deal. So that lets you know, man, that Trump lies. You know, he's talking about he's trying to bring peace, but clearly Putin goes through the pages. He's like, no, there's no long-term peace in this. All this looks like is you want me to lay up off of them so that you can help them get back on their feet. No, I'm not trying to do that. I need those. He wants the lands back. He wants everything, put back in order as he wanted it. None of that's part of the deal. And he doesn't see any long-term, peace deals in this ceasefire. So he's like, no, we might as well keep getting it cracking. Because what? NATO and the EU, they want World War III. They want the war to continue. And America, coyly has been standing by acting like, oh, we want peace too. Meanwhile, they fall right back and follow after, their agreements with NATO and allowing the war to continue on, regardless of what Agent Orange is saying. Moving on. Look, Warsaw calls for nukes. U.S. nukes, that is. Warsaw, Poland. Look how close that is. I pulled this map up earlier, right? They want nukes in here in the U.S. Now, Belarus and Russia, they get along. All the rest of these are NATO-operated countries all around here. So it's pretty much these two against everybody else. And now the fact that if they're able to move nukes towards Poland, that becomes almost an act of war against Russia because you're making an imminent threat to them. Poland and Russia don't get along. Poland is saying, give us U.S. We need nukes too because we see where this is going. The Polish president said there's a need for NATO's deterrence to shift eastward to Poland following the end of the Cold War. Polish President Andrzej Duda has asked the U.S. to deploy nuclear weapons to Poland to deter a potential Russian invasion. Why they always step up immediately to nukes? They ain't asking for, missile defense systems. They ain't asking for tanks. They ain't asking for, Hellfire missiles. They want nukes. Which should let you know the scale of warfare that's going on. I'm talking about in DSTM for a long time about how all the countries that are in preparation for war, all of them are just talking nukes. Nobody's talking about any other conventional, weaponry. They're going straight for the kill shots. Everybody wants nukes now, right? So that only lets you know, if the scriptures say, man, that the elements are going to be melted with fervent heat in 2 Peter, it's only going to show you. I think there's a 2 Peter 3 and where's my scriptures at? Let's take this map out of here. Yeah, here we go. Now, look at verse 9 and 10. 2 Peter 3:9. It says, the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness. Yeah, so, a lot of our people are going to get caught up distractionary, things, whether it's, anything, you name it, man. I mean, y'all see it from the entertainment that gets presented to us on TV, sports, when it gets presented to us in the churches, when it gets presented, through the education system. Everybody wants to be a part of something. When you see all these protests, I got an article where they were just talking about the protesters now. They stormed Trump Towers because they had a Palestinian migrant that had been kind of freedom fighting for the freedom of Palestine. He's now become a figurehead for everybody to protest. People want to just be a part of something. Remember, Black Lives Matter had everybody, all hyped up and running around with the George Floyd T-shirts. And, these are all things that people figure, oh, well, the Lord is slack. I got some time to act up. I got some time to do what I'm going to do. And, that Bible's tampered with. Hey, who believes that anymore anyway? This is always happening. There's always problems in the world. Quit saying it's just because of that. No, the Lord said he's not slack, and he made a promise. And in Numbers, I think it's 26, he said he's not a man that he should lie. See that Numbers 26 or 25. But he said he's not a man that he should lie. And as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward. So he's long suffering for us to get it right. As much turmoil as he sees the children of Israel in, be it internal, external, destroyed for lack of knowledge, so forth and so on. The Lord said, look, I'm patiently waiting for my children to get together. I'm long suffering for them, not willing that any should perish, but all should come to repentance. That's the goal. He said, the Most High said in Ecclesiasticus in Sirach, the first chapter, he said he didn't make death. But because of sin, death entered into the world. He said he doesn't want us to die. but he wants us all to repent, right? But that day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night when nobody's expecting it. Everybody sleep. In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. Yeah, bombs, explosions, the heavens passing away. The firmament getting filled with smoke, toxicities, great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Well, how did the elements melt with fervent heat? Through nuclear warfare, nuclear heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. So, this is why you're hearing all these multiple nations saying, this is what they need in order to defend themselves. This is what they need in order to be prepared for the incoming war. Why are they all talking about nukes and heat and needing these particular radiation type weapons? It's because that's what the Lord said at the end is going to come to. So Poland, they want nukes, right? The borders of NATO, we don't need to read that. Point of the matter is that we're seeing another country saying we want nukes to defend ourselves. You see what's going on in Syria, man. They got a deadly war going on over there. And remember, at the fall of Bashar Assad, that was all backed by America and Israel. The GMO, small hat Israel, not the real ones. You know who we talking about, right? They were the ones that backed the downfall and the overthrow of Assad. That whole regime change, remember? And Turkey was saying, well, we'll take over. America was like, well, we'll position who we want over there. It's gotten even worse since they destroy. But that's what they do. They destroy regimes. They do whole coups and leadership changes. And then they leave countries, especially Ishmael, the wild man over there, to destroy each other. Look what happened when Slow Biden withdrew out of Afghanistan. Remember all of them Afghanis and the Ishmaelites, man, that was running, chasing down the planes and hanging off the damn tires of the planes that they were taking off, falling all over the place, and storming the airports because they wanted out because they knew that Al Qaeda and all of them was coming in. They was about to wreak havoc. Remember that? And that's what the Agent Orange has been talking about with Trump saying how they left Afghanistan was a mess and all of that. Yeah, because they know the Sunni Shiite wars and all the Muslim wars that they're fighting over territory. The wild man Ishmael, man, they don't give a damn, and they're over there slaughtering and killing each other. So they knew they were going to destabilize Syria and let them eat each other alive. And then they're going to be begging America for help. I've seen videos of these Syrians over there begging, crying, hiding out, saying they're killing all of us. They're coming in, they're breaking down the doors, they're killing us. Please, anybody help America. Somebody stop this. So now when it becomes a new humanitarian crisis and they beg for America to come over there, America can go over there, flex their muscles, drop some bombs, and then take over a whole new territory again. Watch this. Fair use. This is for commentary, but this is a news report. There ain't no copyrights.
It was only a few weeks ago that what many thought impossible happened. Jubilant crowds celebrated in the Syrian capital as the brutal dictator Bashar al-Assad's regime crumbled.
Look at him. Fireworks, everything was great. Oh, we're liberated. Thank you, America. Thank you, Israel. You finally got rid of this dictator who was running our country. We're so happy. We'll wave our flags around. America and it's the democracy and the money helped us out of here.
Within just a few weeks, thousands of political prisoners, some of them held for decades, were broken out of Assad's dungeons. It finally seemed that the 13-year nightmare of Syria's civil war, which according to UN estimates saw a staggering 580,000 people killed, 14 million Syrians displaced from their homes, of which 7.2 million became refugees, was ending.
So under Assad, they was already saying that there was already turmoil and hell going on, and this is all based around religious wars, various sects of Islam running, this particular country, right? And they're always dealing with submission to their views on the doctrine, so to speak. So all this hell was going on. Now they're saying, okay, America came in and liberated us and finally helped us, come from underneath the boot of Assad. And now we're liberated and we're free. Everything's great, right? Oh, okay. Hold on.
But that brief moment of harmony and hope now seems to be dangerously slipping away. Syria has erupted into waves of vicious sectarian score settling and massacres as those minorities who were accused of supporting Bashar al-Assad are being summarily executed by those who overthrew Assad and suffered the most under his rule. Now, in order to grasp what lies behind this, one has to understand the broad sectarian makeup of Syria. The Sunni Muslim community, here shown in green, make up the majority of Syria's 24 million people, and it was they who made up the bulk of the opposition to President Assad, and it was their forces who overthrew him and took the capital, Damascus. In the north, the Kurds.
Now, this is when they break up the Sunni and the Shiites and all of that. Much of that is all based upon after the death of Muhammad, who was the lead, the charge in promoting and the spreading of Islam, who was the anointed next leaders. It was either, I think they said because he didn't have a son. So it went down to his, I think they said I'm trying to remember, his cousin and like his close friend, which broke off into the Sunni and the Shiites. I can't remember the whole dynamics off the top of my head right now, but that's what it boils down to. Then you got the Kurds. They're also subsects of Islamic, believers or whatnot. So they're dividing up. He's showing us the religious divide within the country.
Shown in orange also fought Assad, but they have also faced conflict with Turkey, which opposes Kurdish separatism in the region. But it is the small Syrian Christian community shown here in black and who are scattered in small pockets, and the Druze community shown in blue, and most importantly, and particularly, the Alawite community in purple that are being targeted in the massacres across the country. And that's because the Assad family are Alawites, and Bashar al-Assad and his father.
So you see that, these look like damn white Arabs, Assad and his pops. But anyway, the Alawites, again, this is another sect of Islam. Much of this is all based upon religious dominance, influence, bow down to our doctrine, our ways, or else. Of course, they're going to say, well, the Christians are getting, they're getting persecuted over there as well. And that all goes back to the Crusades. You decide that you want to go leave the doctrine of Ishmael with Islam to convert to Christianity. I mean, they're going to have a beef forever with any Christian, right? So-called Christian, I should say. But this is what it's boiling down to. So it's the Alawites versus the Sunnis and the Kurds.
The Hafez before him ruled Syria for a total of 55 years. And throughout that time, they carried out massacres, imprisoned, tortured, exiled, and murdered. The opposition to their rule was led predominantly by Sunni Islamist and jihadi groups, most notably HTS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. It was led by this man, a jihadist who was allied to groups linked to Al-Qaeda, and who was then...
allied with Al-Qaeda. Well, who was running Al-Qaeda? Who runs that op? Look no further than the red, white, and blue, right? We documented and shown all of that, man, from, bin Laden being trained by the CIA all the way back in the 80s. You got Hillary Clinton talking about, how America funded the Mujahideen and the Arab forces in the Cold War to help them fight against the Russians, which they in turn turned into quote unquote Muslim extremists, i.e. Al-Qaeda. and they've been continually funneling their money. You know, they check the books, man. They said they send them money like monthly. So now we're seeing, oh, well, Al Qaeda is backed by America. This guy is getting help from America. All you see, America and Israel was supporting this overthrow. So, you know, they had their own issues, internal warfare jumping off. And now we're seeing America saying, oh, well, these are the good. I mean, these are the more destructive, you know, Ishmaelites that we can utilize as the hand and the arm of colonialism and destruction.
Known as Abu Muhammad al-Jolani. Today, he wears a suit and has dropped his nom de guerre from when he was a jihadi commander. Today, he is known as Ahmed al-Sharaa and is the interim president of Syria, courted by foreign governments.
See how they cleaned him up? Now he got to go in there. He got to look the role. You got to play that white man role. Take off that damn, take off your jihadi outfit. Throw on the suit and tie. And come in politics. Now he's the interim president, backed by America, backed by Israel. Right now he's putting on the road.
Governments and dignitaries, but he is struggling to contain the bloodletting of fighters he once commanded. On Sunday, he made a national address in which he vowed to hold accountable those responsible for civilian deaths. However, he also said those who fought for and served Assad would be hunted down. He is basically trying to ride two volatile horses at once, preventing the reigniting of Syria's sectarian civil war, whilst also promising his supporters amongst Sunni Muslims that their suffering under Assad will be avenged by.
So you see what's going on there, right? This tug of war. Why is this important too? Because second Ezra mentions this. You know how the Lord is putting these things together, right? Second Ezra 16:1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. So we're seeing cardinal points in this particular scenario. Babylon being America, Asia, and we're talking Eurasia, which is including Europe and Asia. You're talking about the Southeast Asia with China, Japan, North Korea, Eurasia. You're talking about Russia, you know, Ukraine, all of that. That all of these particular areas are being warned that destruction is coming to them. So America, all of Asia, Egypt, so Africa is going to be involved, and this particular cohorts we're seeing even down there in the not necessarily Sudan. Why am I drawing a blank? Where are the Houthis coming from? Yemen, all down in Egypt, all of the particular regime changes and warfare that we're seeing happening within Africa, you know, from Niger and so forth and so on. And then also we see Syria, right? Which is representing part of the Middle East, but also literally, what's to say? Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you. Who may turn it back? So this is why we're seeing the destruction that's happening over there, the internal warfare, the things that's happening, and why? Because you've got other puppeteers that's controlling these things from America and Israel again, that is controlling that whole overthrow. Remember, Assad said, I'm out of here. He tried to run to Russia for help and to hide out. And Putin called him, basically called him a coward. Like, man, don't come over here, man. He was like, well, at least take my wife and kids. And then they finally took him in and set him up and gave him a little refuge. You ain't heard from him since. But the sword has already been sent on over there. And then you just seen the cat that's supposed to be the new president. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's like, well, look, I've been fighting this regime, and I got to tell them I'm going to fight, and we're going to avenge everybody and our people, man, that got slaughtered. But at the same time, I got to go out here and play the justice role, and I got to catch anybody who's out here killing civilians. How are you going to do that? You're a hypocrite. The same people that's you're saying you're going to defend, and you're going to go out there and you want to avenge for, You're saying you're going to prosecute them and you're going to bring them to justice? That's not going to happen. That's why this sword can't be turned back. A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any drive away a hungry lion in the wood, or may one quench the fire in stubble when it have begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? And I'm telling you, I've seen videos of these guys, man, crying. They got masks on and everything because they're in hiding. Be it the Christians, the Alawites, all of them, they over there jacked up right now. And they're killing everybody. I just want to get this one video, man. This guy was talking about, man, I just want to get my sisters out of here. They can kill me, but don't kill my sisters. They didn't do nothing. America, please, somebody help us. And America's like, no, everything's going according to plan. Where are the people that over there in Afghanistan that was begging for America to come back and help them? And what ended up happening? Al Qaeda somehow got a hold of all of these weapons, American-made weapons. Remember that when Slow Biden did that withdrawal in 2023? Was it? Armed them up, let them run through, slaughtering everybody. America loves unleashing the jackals of the Middle East, man, and utilizing them as the arm of confusion and destruction. And then they're going to be the tool that is used to say, well, we'll be the ones who come in and solve the problem. Problem, reaction, solution. Think about 9/11. The boogeyman comes in that they set up, they put him in place, put him in power. America turns their head and says, go ahead, do what you're going to do. Then they look back and they say, oh, look what happened. We got destroyed. These people are trying to take our freedoms. There's weapons of mass destruction over there. They're going to use it against us. We got to start a war. Do y'all want us to go to war? Everybody's waving their American flag. Yes, stop the crazy Muslims. Well, guess what? We're going to have to put this thing called the Patriot Act into effect. We got to monitor, spy on. We got to, institute the TSA and everything else and change your whole way of life to make sure that you're safe. Are you sure you ready to give up your rights and everything for that? Everybody, yeah. Just stop the crazy Muslims and the crazy Arabs. Okay, cool. We're going to change the laws. That's how all these things work, man. Ishmael ain't nothing but a damn puppet, man, that the so-called white man uses. And they gladly do it because they're so zealous for their, false doctrine that they'll kill each other for it in a minute because they think 70 virgins is waiting for them. So everything, all these things are all lined up because the Most High is unleashed the prophecies and the judgments that's befallen the nations and the earth. But people are too worried about Stephen A. Smith and LeBron having an argument at the basketball game. Who gives a damn about that? Look what else this peacekeeping president of ours is saying. Donald Trump orders the military to draw up plans to seize Panama Canal. Remember, a couple months ago, I played the video of the interview, and the reporter asked him. He said, "Will you rule out sanctions of military force and taking the Panama Canal?" And he was like, "Nope, I can't do that." It's possible we do that. So, in order to reclaim, he's trying to get the Panama Canal back. Now he's threatening even military order. Remember, the president of Panama was like, "Look, we're going to get wiped out, but America's going to have the stain on their reputation after they do it." So he's only hoping for history to be his avenger, to say, "Look what America did." That ain't work, man. Look at how bad America's done in colonizing and taking over America. Has that stained their reputation? Has that only made them even stronger? The world fears America. With the exception of maybe China, they're starting to get some balls on them. Russia, they're starting to get some balls, but they're teaming up. No one nation is riding up against them. Any of the nations mad that America had to arm up and go fight, they went to them. They went to Vietnam, got their butts whooped, had to kind of get up out of there. They went to Afghanistan, they fighting up cats with, sandals and tunics on, for 20 plus years and couldn't get the upper hand and just be like, you know what, this is going nowhere. Let's get up out of here. We still got control of the poppy fields. We got the heroin trade going. You know, they still impose their will. They still got great influence over there, access to the resources, signing particular treaties and deals so that they can still monopolize the Middle East. They left out of there with what they needed to. But they still come up looking like, damn, hand-to-hand ground warfare, man. America struggles when it comes down to guerrilla warfare, because you go to somebody else's turf and you got to deal with the consequences. But other than that, it is what it is. If y'all remember that when the Panama presidency said, man, there's going to be a lot of deaths, and the only thing they're going to have is the world is going to say, hey, America was messed up for that. America will live with that. Will live with that title and consequence, because that's what they've always done. They're unrepentant of slavery. They're unrepentant of the genocide of the indigenous communities that were here, all of the Native American tribes, the Aztec, the Maya, the Inca. They ain't repentant of them. The Arawak Indians, the Carib Indians, they ain't tripping off of them. It's like, oh, that was a tragic time in history, but look what we got out of the deal. So Trump is ordering the military to draw up plans to seize the Panama Canal. U.S. officials said military action in Panama would only be considered if the country does not allow Donald Trump to reclaim the canal. See that? Bullying. Only way we're not going to come over there and start lighting you up is if you tell us no. They already told China, hey, we got to cut off our agreements with you, man. Bosses on deck now, telling us we got to get back in line. They want us back over there. They want to control the trade. They want to control the embargoes. They want to control the economy that comes through here. And Trump's like, you're damn right. We gave it to you. You've been utilizing this, sharing your wealth with all the other countries, and you're taxing us. We want it back. And if you don't give it to us willingly, we're going to take it by force. Donald Trump has reportedly ordered the U.S. military to come up with plans to increase the number of troops in Panama as part of the mission to, quote, reclaim the canal. U.S. Southern Command, responsible for security cooperation and operations in Central America, has drafted ideas such as working with the Panamanian military and U.S. troops taking the canal by force. Two officials told NBC News. The likelihood of military force depends on the level of partnership agreed upon by the Panamanian military. They added. Excuse me. So imagine that, man. Well, you just flat out tell them, man, if you don't give it up, we taking it, man. Get down and lay down. And that's how Agent Orange is coming in, running this thing. So Panama's in trouble too. Let's move on. Now look at this. Trump promised Americans booming wealth. Now he's changing his tune. President Trump's sweeping promises are running headlong into the reality of governing. As presidential candidate, Donald Trump promised an economic, quote, boom like no other. But 8 weeks into his presidency, Mr. Trump is refusing to rule out a recession, a striking change in tone and message for a man who rode widespread economic satisfaction to the White House by promising to, quote, make America affordable again. How's he working on that? Is America affordable again? Throw a 7 in the chat if America is affordable again. If it's not, put a 1 in the chat. I'm just wondering if it's affordable for y'all. If I had a 1, I'd be throwing it in there right now. If America is affordable again, put a 7. If it's not, put a 1. This is the promise that Slow Biden said he's gonna make. I mean, not Slow Biden. I'm tripping. They're both devils, man. They both be lying. This is the promise he said. I see a lot of 1s in there, man. I see some 1s up in there. Okay. Holla at me. Let me know if I'm tripping. If it's like that, okay. Let me. I need to move where you at. But otherwise, he's changing his tune. Sure he is. Look at this. U.S. stock market loses $4 trillion with T trillion in value as Trump plows ahead on tariffs. Them tariffs kicked in, man. The stocks markets went crazy. Everything is all bad when it comes down to investors and people that were relying upon the market. You see all these shysters on YouTube, man, talking about, oh, it's a great time to buy. Hey, kids, stick with us. We got money moves to making now. Because I see some of them. I'm trying to expand my profile and I'm trying to touch in every little aspect of this thing. Remember, the wise man's going to seek into the house of the wicked. And now some of them changing their tunes. Oh, this is all bad, but we've been here before. No, you haven't. Come on, stick with us. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is bad time right now. You might want to hold, $4 trillion gone. Thanks to the Trump. Look, before we go, let's look at some economic scriptures real quick, man, because this is where we're leading up to. Hold on. Let's look at a couple more before we look, because I want to, for time's sake, get through some of these. Look, second biggest bank in U.S. hit by major data breach, stealing Social Security numbers and other personal info. Now we're starting to see hackings and issues going in with the banking sectors having issues, all leading up to Social Security numbers. And guess who's getting a hold of people's Social Security or wanting to have access to people's Social Security? Oh, Elon and Doge. This is interesting. Banks are getting hit, right? One of America's biggest banks has suffered a security blunder, exposing the Social Security numbers and private information of an unknown number of customers. Bank of America, how ironic. Bank of the whore has informed clients that their names, account details, addresses, contact information, date of birth, Social Security numbers, and other government IDs were all exposed when documents were left outside in an unsealed container. How tragic. Look at this. Trump retaliates against Ontario's electricity tariff, threatens to permanently shut down Canadian car makers, and pushes for a 51st state. Now, if y'all remember last week, what was it? I don't know what his position is, man. But the dude over there, I don't know if he's the governor of Ontario, but he was talking big stuff like, well, we're going to shut off the electricity. 1.5 million Americans rely on us for power, and we're going to stand up to America. And man, a couple of days later, man, that dude was cowering down, talking about, we got to work this out. Trump, we need to figure this thing out. Because Trump has got more access to resources than Canada does, especially Ontario. Trump was like, oh, really? Okay, I'm going to boost it up another 25%. And I'm going to put an executive order in to help those who might be losing power. So we're not going to be affected, but you sure are. And after he started laying all that down, a dude in Ontario was like, hold on, boss. Let's talk about this. He was talking big stuff earlier. Canada, is not for sale, wearing these hats and all this other stuff. But he bowed down, man. Now he's ready to come talk. Look, based on Ontario, Canada placing a 25% tariff on electricity coming into the United States, this is from Trump's Truth Social account. This is his response. I've instructed my Secretary of Commerce to add an additional 25% tariff to the 50% on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada, one of the highest tariffing nations anywhere in the world. This will go into effect tomorrow morning, March 12th. Also, Canada must immediately drop their anti-American farmer tariff of 250% to 390% on various U.S. dairy products, which has long been considered outrageous. I will shortly be declaring a national emergency on electricity within the threatened area. This will allow the U.S. to quickly do what it has to be done to alleviate the abusive threat from Canada. So he doubled down on him, man. Doubled down on him. He was like, oh, okay, all right. Can we talk about this? So these trade wars, man, has been affecting the economy, affecting a lot of businesses like no other, right? Look at this. Consumer angst is striking all income levels. Well, guess what? How else are they going to be able to impose a new system of a beast? And I'm not going to go through the entire breakdown. I'm just trying to get to this one particular point. How else would they be able to impose this? And we've read this before, but look, Revelation 13:16, and he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand and in their foreheads. Now remember, this mark is not a literal inserted device. Even when you look at the word charagma, it says it's an itching or a scratching, right? A surface level. When you look at that word mark as charagma, it means a surface level scratch or etching, right? What some people propose as they mark is an implantable. It means it has to be inserted underneath. So those are two different concepts in regards to what this mark is. At this particular point in time, the mark is pretty much any particular form of compliance with this beast system. You've been marked with sin, iniquity, unrighteousness, right? There's going to be a time when we're going to be forced to make choices where it's like, listen, either you're going to go mentally, you have to be committed to this. Your right hand is going to be your labor, your commitment, your agreement. All agreements are done with what? When you agree on something, you shake with what? Your right hand. You never see no left hand shaking, saying, do we agree? Yeah, give me a left. No, everything is always customarily done through a covenant via the right hand, right? So, and it didn't matter your status, small, great, rich, poor, right? Verse 17, and that no man may buy or sell, because now this system is going to come with technology, is going to come with a basis of how you're able to conduct business, life in this thing, right? And meanwhile, the system is already being set up on the system of dependency. Through my research and my understanding, it's all going to come through technology. I've done, and I'm gonna do a little video even more on that, man. Biometrics, the dependency upon the phone. We're attached to the phones. Everything going through QR codes. I made mention about all of this stuff before. It's much easier to slide that in as a weapon of Satan. Remember, we're talking about Satan and a devil system, a deceitful system. If everybody has already been told, everybody that RFID, that's nothing new. That's not going to catch anybody off guard. Somebody say, okay, they're just going to force you to line you up and tell you get it or you die. That may happen, but it's easier when you can deceive somebody and say, man, it's already locked on into something that you are already accustomed to being attached to you. It's already a part of you. That phone, me and UZL was talking about that this morning. It's already part of, a dependency upon this tech. And that's where people are going to have to say, well, you know what, either I'll just break free and, completely back out and say, I'm going to go live, as they say, off grid. If you watch that movie Demolition Man, you had people living underground in the tunnel systems. And they were like, the rebels I was fighting against it. They ended up, I think it was Demolition Man. They would pop up out the sewers and stuff, and trying to steal food, and they ended up having a little engagement with the elite class that was living above ground. But this is the type of stuff we're talking about, man. So I mean, this is a whole nother thing. But your ability to buy, sell, and all the other stuff has to be classified and categorized under this beast system. And there's multiple ways in having it. So you got to either have that mark, the name, or the number of his name, all qualify for you to be a part of the beast system, right? That's why I said or. But getting back into this, now it says consumer anxious striking all income levels. So you're wondering, well, how is it going to be rich and poor, small and great? Everybody's in the same position. Once they collapse and they break down everything, it ain't going to matter how many O's is in your bank account, because with inflation and with the devaluation of the dollar, $100 is going to be more like $3. And if you got $3, you might as well be dealing in pesos when they're done with this thing. And then when they collapse and destroy everything, they're going to say, well, guess what? We can revalue your income. We can revalue what you lost. in the whole economic debacle under this new system. You know, it's all going to be based upon digital credits and everything else. Remember, Trump was saying that they were going to use Bitcoin as the digital currency backup. So they're already talking about utilizing digital systems and cashless societies to do it. And now we're seeing the slow development of rich and poor. Everybody's in trouble. I mean, I've seen Mercedes parked at Dollar Trees now. You know, I'm seeing Esau coming down to Food for Less. You know, they breaking free from Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and Gelson's and all of that. I'm seeing Esau, man, coming into the damn hood level grocery stores now. Food for Less. I haven't seen them at El Super. You know, I'm talking about the groceries here in LA. You know. But those are, those, yeah, man, I've seen Edomites and Food for Less. That's a fact. I'm seeing Mercedes Benz is parked in Dollar Street parking lots. Cold part is I was at the Dollar Tree maybe about a month ago, maybe less than that. And what was I buying? I forgot what I bought. I think it was like a couple weeks ago. I think I was buying like some wrapping paper and stuff for some Purim gifts. And I'm walking out the store and I see a sister. It was two sisters, man, Northern and Southern Kingdom. And I see they got these big bags, and they're both of them got on, the damn face mask on. And I'm like, there's no threat of, the vid and all the other stuff. And they kind of are hustling out the door. And the Southern Kingdom says she go out first. I'm right behind the Northern tribe sister. She holds the door before me. I grab the door. They keep it moving. They're scrambling to their car. They're walking fast, and I know they just boosted Lord knows what out of this Dollar Tree, and they're walking, kind of fast, and they just happen to be parked next to me. So they jump in the car, man. The sister peels out and got up out of it. I said, is it that bad now, man, where people are just boosting from a Dollar Tree? I mean, stuff in there is $1.20, $1.25. Some stuff is more expensive depending on what you get, but ain't nothing over there more than $5. And it's at that point, man, where they was running a little boosting ring where they like, we got to steal from the Dollar Tree to survive. I said, damn, shit is bad. It's bad. And I just couldn't do nothing but laugh. I was like, man, go on, y'all. Y'all trying to survive. You did what you did. Scripture say, man, if nobody despises a thief if he steals when he's hungry, man. But if you get caught, you got to pay. Yeah, and let me get that real quick, just in case somebody might be like, that ain't right. They were stealing. That's in Proverbs. 6:30. It says, men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. So, people have a charitable thought about, people trying to come up just to survive. And that's where we at now. I seen them running, they boosting and they bags are full trying to run about the store. And I was like, damn, Dollar Tree, it's like that now. I couldn't be mad at them. I was just like, hey, I get it, sisters, man. Y'all go do your thing. But it says, but verse 31, but if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. So if he gets busted, if they got busted, they was gonna have to give it all up sevenfold. For every one thing they would have to give up $7 for every one thing that they had. That's the risk they had to take, right? But anyway, that was kind of funny / sad to me because I was like, damn, it's bad. Consumer angst is striking all income levels, right? American consumers have had a lot to fret about so far this year between never-ending tariff headlines, stubborn inflation, and most recently fresh fears about a recession. These concerns seem to be hitting spending both rich and poor. Uh-oh, didn't we just read about that? Across necessities and luxuries all at once. You know, don't be fooled if people are running it up, because you still see restaurants surviving that. A lot of these restaurants is filing, they getting EBT, you know, as long as they can get EBT, they able to eat out and still get their favorite little fast foods or whatever, right? Even when you're dealing with you got shrinkflation jumping off, man. You're buying stuff, you're getting less in your packaging than what you initially got. Everything's getting hit, you know. Small, great, rich, poor, everybody. Look at this. Is your money gone before it arrives? The sad reality of American paychecks. Well, that's been Israel's reality forever. You understand what I'm saying? Living check to check. Haggai chapter 1, verse 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. He that earneth wages to put it in a bag with holes. As soon as you get it, it's gone. And now this is the reality that we're seeing going on. Look at this. New York, most working Americans have already spent more than half their paycheck before they even get it. This Financial Balancing Act revealed in a recent survey shows how millions of workers may be finding themselves counting money they haven't even yet received just to keep up with the basic expenses. That's the plight of the Black and Hispanic all day long. You already calculating your bills before your paycheck even comes. You already figuring how much you're going to put down on the gas bill, how much you're going to put down. You can't pay it all. I'm going to pay part of this bill, I'm going to pay this. I got to make sure my phone stay on, so I got to make sure I pay off this. My check should be about this much. Oh, you know what? Matter of fact, I'm going to need a payday loan. I'm going to go over here and get this payday loan so I can make sure I cover this. I got to pay back the other loan. And that's Israel. And now it's catching up to rich and poor, all of America now. That shows you the downfall and the decline of America right in front of our faces, right? So there it is. A survey of 2,000 employed Americans making less than $75,000 annually shows what happens to the modern paycheck, where it goes, how fast it disappears, and how many people need to plan carefully just to make it through each month. That's the reality that we're in. We sow in much, we go in, we build up countries, we're building up corporations, we're building up restaurants, we're building up industries, building up tech, bringing in little. We're eating, not have enough. I see brothers in there talking about farming, raiding pigeon coops, and you know, from egg prices to the dairy to you name it, whatever, right? And it's never enough, man. Never enough. Jay said he spent $30 on a couple of items at the store. That's just what that's real. Everything is gone up, man. And it's not enough. You're rationing out. You know, that's why I was saying years ago, we were talking about bad prep, just in case times get hard, you still got some stashed in the war chest. When groceries can't afford it. Remember, I said that years ago. Make sure y'all got some stuff going on, because who knows? You get laid off, you get fired, your grocery go up, you can't afford that same grocery bill you used to. You got some backup food to survive to get you by. You drink, but you're not filled with drink, clothes, none warm, and you earn wages to put it in a bag full of holes. That's where we're at now, man. Let's jump over to the next chapter, chapter 2. And let's read verse 16. And we'll read 14. It says, then answered Haggai and said, so is this people, and so is this nation before me, saith Yahweh, and so is every work of their hands, and that which they offer there is unclean. So Haggai was, proposing to the priest. He was like, look, if your garments touch any of this anointing or the oil and everything else, is it clean now? And the priest was like, nah, And they was like, well, if an unclean person if somebody touches a dead body and if somebody's unclean by a dead body and they touch any of these things, are they become unclean? And the priest was like, yeah, for sure. So if something was holy and righteous, it touches something holy and righteous, it doesn't make it clean. But he said, now, if you touch a dead body, you touch these holy vessels, they become unclean. So they was like, yeah. So the Lord was telling Haggai, said, well, that's the same with Israel. Our sins and everything else have made everything that we touch and everything else that we're dealing with unclean and defiled. So the point of the matter was, he was like, Haggai, they got to repent and become clean again, because everything they touch is turning to ish because of their uncleanness and unrighteousness. That's a lesson for us to learn as a people, man. That's the real focusing in on, is that we have to make sure that in order to turn these things away from us, we got to repent. We got to get right. So verse 15, it says, and now I pray you consider from this day and upward, from before a stone was laid upon a stone in the temple of the Lord, since those days were when one came to a heap of 20 measures, there were but 10. So imagine you're going out, you're planting, you're expecting your harvest to be bountiful. You said, you go out and you're looking for a heap of 20 measures, and you go out and there's only half of that. He says, when one came to the press fat for to draw out 50 vessels out of the press, there were but 20. So what you go out and reap, when it comes back, is less than you expect. I remember when my sons, when they first started working, and they was, they counting on their paychecks, they didn't think about and understand how the tax system works. I tell them, hey man, Uncle Sam gonna get his first. But when they seen, they were like, hey, dang. It's like, yeah, you thought you was gonna be getting this, or you expected this, but Uncle Sam got to get his first. That's what the Most High is showing. He's like, look, Israel going out there, you got the heap of 20, you're getting back 10. Ain't nothing adding up as you thought. You pre-planning thinking you're gonna be able to afford this and that. No. That's how the Most High, lays it down. He's like, no, it ain't gonna work that way, because we're still under these curses. And now the Lord is cursing the whole land because of the wickedness that is being ruled by. Let's look at Sirach. Because look at it, Sirach 21:8 says, he that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial. How was America built? Other man's money, So number one, meaning that they didn't come with their own capital. They came over there, they stole, demolished, destroyed. Now also, America's living off of a loan system. Getting money from the Federal Reserve, a private-owned bank by the elites. High interest rates. That's why America is, what is it, $36 trillion in debt? It's an insurmountable debt, man. I don't give a damn what Agent Orange is talking about. We're going to make America affordable again. I'm going to get us out this debt. We're going to get it right. I don't care what Elon's running through with his audit team and Doge saying, well, look how much money we're saving. America's still in financial collapse and ruin. Why? Because they've been ruling with other men's money. They've been stealing from the poor, giving to the rich. And what's it doing? Only setting themselves up for more destruction and burial. They're talking about, look at the paychecks. Well, look, Baruch 3:8 says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments. Y'all know how that goes. Have you gone paperless, or you still getting them bills in the mail? Let me know. White men think it's more convenient, man. Hey, man, let me save on this recycling, man. Let me just send you these harassing texts and emails through your phone. Subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God. You see, this is the state of affairs that we're in. Ezekiel 4. The Lord said, behold, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment. So there's going to be a time when there's going to be a famine in the land. The Lord already prophesied that we're going to have to ration out our food and our bread. 2 Ezra 15, we read it a bunch of times, where there's going to be chaos amongst neighbors because of the lack of bread, fear in men because of the city's going to be overthrown and wilding out. And we're just on the precipice of people, they talking about people have been 401ks have been getting tapped into greater than ever. Credit card debts have exceeded, levels like none other. People are living off of credit, living off of credit cards, borrowing from it and taking from their 401ks, HELOC loans, but creating credits out of the equity in your homes just to survive, man. And it's getting worse. The wages ain't going up. Layoffs is. Job creation ain't going up as much as Trump talking about. We're going to create more jobs and everything else. You think he's going to be able to do it within the next 3 years? Really, as Elder Rashov always is reminding me, he's got 2 years because of the primaries, the midterms is going to be coming up in 2026 to see how good a job he's doing, and if they're going to shift the framework of the House for his final couple years. But this is how the Lord said, bread by weight and with care. You go into the store, man, you're trying to figure out what you're gonna what you're gonna buy, what you can't buy. You go into a list and you saying, but damn, I'm looking up, I can't, okay, that's too much, that's too damn. I thought I was gonna be able to get this. All right, I'm gonna take that off the list. You seen people, and you might have been a victim of it too. When you go to the damn grocery store, people adding up stuff, and they hear the bill and they like, oh, how much was the milk? Oh, the milk was $6, man. Oh, can you take that off? I can't get that. Okay, how much is the bill now? That's what it's saying. Eating bread by weight and with care. Damn, I wanted to get the kids these cookies, but they $3. I can't do that. Drinking water by measure. Verse 17, that they may want bread and water and be astonished one with another and consume away for their iniquity. That's what goes on. And for the Christians, oh, well, that happened already because Leviticus said this is going to happen. See, our people, man, don't understand how the judgment of the Lord works, man. When the Most High lays down these particular judgments, he doesn't have to reinvent a new way to punish the children of Israel for their iniquities. He doesn't have to invent a new way to destroy or punish the nations. He already said, if you do this, I already know this is already the punishment. This is what's going to happen. Same way you do when you discipline your kids. The chores ain't done, the homework ain't done, this, that, and the third. Oh, this, you don't do this, it's 3 weeks punishment. You don't do this, you getting your butt whipped. You do this, you ain't got to reinvent a whole new way to discipline. It's already done. That's how the Most High operates. Right? Now look at this. Leviticus 26, and we'll read 25 and 26. It says, and I will bring a sword upon you that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when ye are gathered together within your cities, I will send a pestilence among you, and ye shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. And when I have broken the staff of your bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven, and they shall deliver you your bread again by weight, and ye shall eat and not be satisfied. So, somebody in the church or somebody, a biblical intellectual, so-called, may read this and say, see, this got fulfilled during the time of Ezekiel. So there ain't no curses. That's the Lord saying this is always going to be the judgment when we sin and we go against the Lord. We're going to have famines. We're going to have plagues. We're going to be delivered into the hands of our enemies. We're going to be scattered. We're going to be stuck in cursed cities, in cursed fields. We're not going to have it like we used to. Remember, we're the chosen people of the Lord, man, a holy special people unto him. Earth being made for our sake. We're supposed to be spoiled. But remember, even in Deuteronomy, was it 32, where he said, Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. Yeah, we got spoiled and we took it to the head. You know? So this was a judgment that the Lord did. And Ezekiel was like, hey, this is what the Lord said he's going to do. He already told us in Leviticus 26, this is what's going to happen. 10 women baking bread and whatever. Everybody's struggling trying to get some food made for survival. And it ain't happening, you know? Let me get a couple more precepts and then we'll get to some more articles. Psalm 107. Damn it. And let's read 33 down to 35. It says, he turneth rivers into a wilderness and the water springs into dry ground. So the Most High creates floods and he creates droughts, right? A fruitful land into barrenness for the wickedness of them that dwell therein. So, you know, when America is encompassing itself upon wickedness, prodding itself in its evils, it says the fruitful land is turned into barrenness. Well, isn't this the land of opportunity, the great melting pot, the land of milk and honey? This is the fruitful land. That's where everything, all resources, everything is coming to. Everybody wants to come here. Now it's being turned into a land of barrenness. These tariffs is kicking in, man. Supplies is coming in slowly but surely. You know, people are not being able to afford these luxuries and things that, you know, used to come at a spoiling of a moment. All that's out the door now. Fruitful land is going to be turned into barrenness, man. This place is going to get struck and hit with famine and all kind of madness. Thus saith the Lord. All right. And just a point on that regarding the, you know, the judgment of the Most High. The second Ezra, Most High told us in the 5th chapter. And you said, well, that was Babylon. That wasn't America. Guess what? Nothing new under the sun. It does not matter. The Lord always going to make sure that his judgment stands, and it's already been written. 2 Ezra 5:42 says, and he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring, like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. So everything moves in a cyclical motion. What goes around comes around. His judgment is always moving in a circle. So we're always going, look at the children of Israel, man, walked in the wilderness for 40 years. And it said, and they, you know, their clothes wasn't dirty, dingy, nothing. But judgments was going on, things was happening, activities was happening. That's how the Lord's judgment works. He said, look, I already put it in motion. And it's going to keep going around and around until we get tired of getting spun in the circle and we repent. This has already been laid down. Right? So we're seeing the fulfillment of these prophecies. Let's move on. 200%.
Do want to take you out to some breaking news that we are following with the help of the Associated Press and Reuters. U.S. President Donald Trump saying today that he would put a 200% wine tariff on all wines and other alcoholic products coming out of the European Union if the bloc did not remove its tariff on whiskey. The European Commission saying Wednesday that it would impose counter tariffs on 26 billion euros. That translated there is $28 billion worth of U.S. goods from next month, ramping up a global trade war in response to blanket U.S. tariffs.
Now, look how cold this is. The Most High said, hey, drink a little wine for your often infirmities. You know, he said, you know, wine maketh the heart merry. You know, Yahweh Shai said, you know, his first miracle, turning water into wine. You know, this is going to affect a lot of Jake. They said, man, 200% tariffs on wine and champagne and spirits that come from Europe. So that's Negroes love the Hennessy, because that's a French cognac. You know, from the cognacs to your Ace of Spade, whatever Jake's drink, all the little champagnes, all of these wines coming from France and Europe that, you know, Jake like to drink. Most of the ports, all that stuff gets made out of the country. And he's threatening 200% tariff. Imagine what the liquor price is going to look like when things go up. As we're talking about Passover and the necessity to get your wines in there, making sure you got it, because they have to order the wine, depending on the size of your body congregation, or if you're just at home, you grab your little kosher wine for Passover. But yeah, a lot of these things, man, you talking about 200% tariff if they taxing on the whiskey.
On steel and aluminum. The EU executive saying, however, that it remained open to any kind of negotiations and considered higher tariffs in no one's interest. Trump raised the ante in a social media post on Thursday. Do you want to pop that up for you right here on your screen? And I'm going to read it in full. He says, the European Union, one of the most hostile and abusive taxing and tariffing authorities in the world, which was formed for the sole purpose of taking advantage of the United States, has just put a nasty 50% tariff on whiskey. If this tariff is not removed immediately, the U.S. will shortly place a 200% tariff on all wines, champagnes, and alcoholic products coming out of France and other EU-represented countries. This will be great for the wine and champagne businesses in the U.S.
So what's that tell you? That Trump likes whiskey. He like, man, you put a 50% tax on my whiskey? What? Okay. 200% on your Hennessy and your wines and everything else. You know the Meadamites, man, love their little whiskey and bourbons, man. They like to sit back and pour up. Hey, Brian, I tip a little whiskey too, man. I'm not mad at it. But this is where we're seeing the madness extending to. Even when you want a little peace of mind, man, all the stress, all the hell Jakes go through, man, all of the things we're reading about, we're seeing happening within our daily lives. You're like, look, most I said, but you got to offer in front of me, man, sit down and take a little shot and calm down. Now he's even putting the stress on that. Well, you can't afford that now. Let's move on.
Again.
Look, Musk eyes Social Security and benefit programs for cuts while claiming widespread fraud. So here he is talking about he needs access to Social Security and benefit programs and wants to have some cuts put within those programs, saying that there's widespread fraud going on. Now, one thing he already got busted on, they were saying that there was 100 people that was 130 some odd years old still collecting benefits. Somebody's casting these checks. But once they did the research on it, they was like, actually, no. If information was incomplete, they defaulted the birthdays. So it wasn't necessarily fraud, so to speak. People didn't have their right information kicked in. But part of this is him wanting access to, they're saying he wants access to people's Social Security. We've already seen articles talking about Social Security will be depleted by 2035. This is before he even got in with his Doge team and everything else. They were already talking about Social Security was going to be at risk. He's just helped forwarding that whole program. He's claiming he's coming in to try to save the situation, but so far we ain't seen that happen. Musk pushed back debunked theories about Social Security on Monday while describing federal benefit programs as rife with fraud, suggesting they will be the primary target in his crusade to reduce government spending. The billionaire entrepreneur who's advising President Donald Trump suggesting that $500 billion to $700 billion in waste is needed to be cut. So I don't know. They're saying that might have an impact on people's benefits or their Social Security. So far, they say it's not going to affect people's checks, their money. But can we trust a so-called white man who speaks with forked tongue? Probably not. Even with HUD, there's rumors that the HUD cuts might affect people's Section 8 and their low-income housing programs. People might get cut off. They might end up having to pay more than what their previous Section 8 benefits, allow them. So if somebody's staying in, let's say, for instance, they got a $2,000 grant for, Section 8 housing, and the apartment that they live in, it costs them $1,900. They're only paying $100 in rent a month. They may say, well, we got to reduce that $2,000. We dropping it down to $1,000. Now that mother of five, who's letting Jerome come through and see the kids and hit it every so often, but he can't stay there and help support the family. She got to come up with an extra $900 to make sure that apartment that she living in stays solid. That could be a scenario that jumps on. you know. But here he is talking about widespread fraud, huh? You know, we're gonna skip that one because that's kind of a mirror of the article, right? But they were talking about, you know what? Hold on, maybe.
Trouble tonight for Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. A group of labor unions are asking a federal court to stop Doge from accessing the Social Security data of millions of Americans. A former Social Security official says civil servants at the agency are working to protect the sensitive information from Doge, but they're asking the court to step in and help. The unions want to block Musk from accessing the vast troves of personal information held by the agency. So far, no comment from the Social Security Administration.
No comment. So here he is. He's trying to gain access to Social Security, right? Now, if that goes into any particular form of placing everybody's Social Security into this beast system, this is how they're going to come up with the new designs for economic stability, if you will. They're trying to fight him off. He's trying to get his little itchy, grubby fingers on confidential information, i.e. your and mine's Social Security numbers. Look at this. Doge slashes 10,000 USPS workers on Elon as Elon Musk goes on a wild rampage after court setbacks. So now the post office, 10,000 people within the post office, they getting laid off. Imagine that. Education secretary, mass layoffs is the first step towards a total shutdown. So in their strive to destroy the Department of Education, they're laying off multiple people within the education sector, which, you know, in one instance, I'm like, okay, cool, because the education system is jacked up anyway. It doesn't benefit our people one bit. That's why I've always employed and promoted homeschooling for your children. You know, my kids were primarily homeschooled the latter end of their education. You know, they did experience public school part of their schooling, but when it came down to the major parts of their education, we homeschooled. So in they're just fine as far as society is concerned and their development. You know, it's just a labor that a lot of our people don't want to take on. You remember when the 2019 scenario went down and schools was being shut down and homeschooling was being forced, man, parents was begging for the schools to open up. They did not want to deal with having to educate their kids. I mean, that's your job. Psalm 78 says you're supposed to teach your children, in particular, the laws and the commandments. But outside of that, it's your job to educate and make sure your children are brought up with proper education and understanding, because otherwise they're going to get programmed. And if you want to avoid that, you got to make sure that you're either on top of everything that they're learning at school, making corrections when necessary, or you completely take over their education. They make sure that you cover particular curriculums. Some programs will supply you with the curriculums to teach. You go through the testing and all the other stuff, you know, to make sure that your accreditation is done. But, you know, it's important to make sure that you take control of your children's minds, because if you don't, they will. And if they get a hold of your kids' minds, man, you can forget about it. So in one instance, getting rid of the Department of Education, I get it. You know, there's a lot of, corruption that goes on within there, man. A lot of the school superintendents and assistants, they getting paid, you know, six figures. Meanwhile, you know, you got kids in the inner city, they ain't got books, they ain't got resources, no after school programs, nothing to help them. Only thing they investing in is metal detectors and, you know, allowing a lot of the sex ed, you know, education to be done, transmission education, LGBTQ plus promotions going on and influence happening. You know, you seen last year, a couple years ago, they got these LGBTQ plus HIV infiltrated, teachers going in there, brainwashing the kids, so hey, I'm not mad at this particular move. That whole system is corrupted, But the cold part is guess who's leading the charge on this? Linda McMahon, Vince McMahon's wife from WWF and WWE fame. I mean, what the hell does she know about Department of Education? She used to getting body slammed and getting played for the fool, acting in WWE storylines. But she's qualified to, to step into this. I mean, this thing is a joke, a complete joke. Education Secretary Linda McMahon affirmed late Tuesday that mass layoffs are the first step towards shuttering the education department, a longtime goal of President Trump since his time on the campaign trail. Actually, it is because that was the president's mandate, McMahon told Fox News' Laura Ingraham on Tuesday. His directive to me clearly is to shut down the Department of Education, which we know will have to work with Congress, to get that accomplished. Quote, but what we did today was to take the first step of eliminating what I think is bureaucratic bloat. And that's not to say that a lot of folks, it's a humanitarian thing to a lot of the folks that are there. They're out of a job, she added in an interview on the Ingram angle. So, in one instance, she's acting sympathetic. Oh, people are going to get they're out of a job and humanitarian, but, Trump told me to do this. So I got to go in there and got to cut heads. But Linda McMahon, of all people, is going to tell you how to get educated, man. Imagine that. Moving on. Twitter's down. Social media app crashed earlier this week. Thousands of users around the world got affected, right? So we see Elon with the battle of the tech and everything going on within Doge and whatever else. Somebody took the liberty to hack into Doge hack into X and shut it down. So he's creating enemies. He said that he tracked it down to some Ukrainian group that did it. But where's he at? See, Elon Musk reveals who's behind the massive cyber attacks on X. Elon Musk has sensationally revealed the devastating cyber attack that took down the social media app on X on Monday, seemingly originated in the Ukraine. His bombshell revelation followed repeated glitches with the site, which has been down for much of the day. So this happened on, I think, when was this? Tuesday? Monday or Tuesday, it went down. I don't know, anybody that frequents on X, if you had access to X, if this, you experience this. I don't have an X account. I just, within articles, I find X links. So when y'all see me, playing videos or something from X, is because I found them. I don't have an X account. But if anybody had any experiences with that and you got an X account, let me know how the cyber attack worked and the X being shut down. He says we're not exactly sure what happened, Musk told Fox Business Network on Monday. But he got hit. He said, but there was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down the X system with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area. So that doesn't mean that it was Ukraine. They could have been using a VPN, a virtual private network, saying that they were in the Ukraine. It could have been somebody within the White House. Or somebody in the governmental agency, to set it up to make it look like Ukraine did it as, a response to, Zelensky getting cussed out and booted up out the White House. Who knows, man? All kind of damn spy games and follies going on within this place. But X got hit. Now he's talking about corruption. He's talking about fraud. But look at this. Elon Musk's company avoided almost all federal income tax on nearly $11 billion of U.S. income over 3 years. Did you hear that? This is the white collar BS that goes on in America, man, in these cats, man. You feel me? He made $11 billion in U.S. income over 3 years and avoided almost all federal income tax. You make $50,000 a year and you paying back the government. You coming up owing. How does that work? $11 billion you skated off on without paying no federal income tax on it. And here he is running through the White House talking about who's skipping out on and who's scamming and who's pocketing money on the side and What programs isn't needed because it's wasteful money? I mean, give me a goddamn break, man. My X is Twitter, or used to be Twitter. This says Tesla, the most valuable automaker in the world, valued at over $1 trillion, did not pay any federal income tax last year. No federal income tax, right? It says Tesla's annual financial report released this morning shows the company enjoyed $2.3 billion in U.S. income in 2024, on which it reports precisely zero current federal income tax. Over the past 3 years, Elon Musk-led company reports $10.8 billion of U.S. income, on which its current federal tax was just $48 million. So the rich get richer. They're scamming the system. He's running around acting as if he's this, this savior who's trying to save money. And if anything, yeah, he knows how to save money because he's over here scamming, getting away with murder. Getting away with it. I owe the federal income tax damn near every year. How the hell is he getting off of this? See, this is why the Lord. Hold on. This is why the Lord said this place got to go, man. Revelation 19. And we read 1 and 2. It says, after these things, I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, Hallelujah, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our power. For true and righteous are his judgments, for he doth judge the great whore, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication. See, the great whore, man, operates in complete corruption and teaches others to do so, and hath avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. So vengeance is of the Lord's, man, and this place is corrupt as hell, and we see it play out right in front of our face, man. Moving on. Look at it. Shred and burn all documents. U.S. aid staff ordered to destroy evidence on Tuesday as Doge is running through trying to catch them slipping. They're over here burning and destroying the evidence. What are they trying to hide? I mean, this place is a cesspool. I guess that's why they call it the swamp, man. But again, I think they said they turned the swamp into the jungle. Under Slow Biden and the Democrats, it's the swamp. Under Trump and the Republicans, it's the jungle. Either way, it's foul and it's full of carnivorous, poisonous, lethal creatures in there that are just feeding off of the saints and feeding off of the ignorances of the nations. You know, you're not talking about burn all the documents, get rid of the evidence. Protesters stormed New York's Trump Tower and chant, "Fight Nazis, not students." This was their protest.
Trump administration's effort to deport a
Hold on, Gail, calm down. They went and stormed the Trump Towers. It was inside, outside, you know, over this. And the cold part is a lot of these were GMO small hats talking about pro-Palestinian protests. Let's look at this real quick.
Columbia University student protester moved to a New York City courtroom yesterday. Mahmoud Khalil was detained on Saturday night by immigration authorities and taken to Louisiana. The documents obtained by CBS News show that the case against Khalil is based on a rarely used law. Lilia Luciano was in court for yesterday's hearing and has the latest. Lilia, good morning to you. What can you tell us?
Good morning, Gail. Khalil's legal team argues his detention is unconstitutional. On Monday, a federal judge issued a temporary order blocking Khalil's deportation, and in a courtroom in New York City yesterday, he ruled that Khalil, a U.S. green card holder, be granted at least 2 private calls with his attorneys.
For the first time, lawyers for Mahmoud Khalil faced off against government prosecutors in New York City. Are we going to stop? The Syrian-born activist of Palestinian descent had been a prominent voice in the student-led demonstrations at Columbia University.
National security or foreign policy implications here. People are entitled to their viewpoints and they're entitled to express them, and they shouldn't be punished by the government for doing that.
No, I had a different video. I put the wrong one. My bad, y'all. But the protest is all over this one cat, man. So they stormed Trump Towers. They were inside, outside, hundreds of people, man. They had to, arrest some, but they're all fighting for this cat right here. But there's always a symbol head that they're always trying to, surround around. If it ain't George Floyd, it's Trayvon Martin. If it ain't this cat, it's somebody else. They're always trying to put a face to something to create this false sense of freedom and fighting, and you're making a difference. Stand up, justice for such and such. And meanwhile, there ain't no justice. This is why they always, coin the phrase, no justice, no peace. Like, come on. So this guy, because of a quote unquote free speech platform that he was using for pro-Palestinian protests, they're saying he was targeted for deportation. And now everybody's protesting saying that ain't fair. But I thought it was interesting that they want to hit the Trump Tower. A couple months prior, you had the Tesla bombing at his Trump Tower. Now you got protests going on. The threat of and the talk of civil war, civil unrest is rising daily. So we know the scriptures say nation's going to rise against nation. We know that there's going to be sedition that's going to be committed. Just to recap that, let's just look at it real quick. 2nd Ezra 15 before we close. 2nd Ezra 15. And let's read verse 15 to 16. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So it's going to get to the point to where physical engagement, civil war is going to be enacted. I've covered and shown the articles and the videos about the neo-Nazis, and they're over here getting prepared, and they fighting and they training. Negroes are sitting on their porch stoop, smoking weed and slap boxing, fighting each other and acting a damn fool. But the enemy is sitting over here preparing and gearing up for war. We just seen the neo-Nazi protests over there in Ohio, and Jake's had to jump out there with their weapons and run them off. These protests is rising up within the nation, and these are people that were supposed to be, like I said, a vast majority of those protesters were small hats, arm in arm with the Palestinians. So they fighting against their own people. That's Satan casting out Satan. But we're seeing this is what it's going to lead to. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes. So there'll be no respect for authority. They're not going to be worried about curfews, laws, and all of that. Sedition is when one goes against a government or a government or an authoritative system or regime. So we're seeing those things. People are already pushing the issue regarding, standing up against governments, ready to risk it all. And the course of their actions are standing their power. So whether it's protests, whether it's fighting, whether it's, rioting, you see them, they've been running around, man, attacking Tesla plants, throwing Molotov cocktails and shooting up Tesla plants and all of that, fighting against, the fact that they got Elon, in there. See that? Tesla facilities face a wave of attacks as Elon Musk delves into politics. See, they busted windows out over here. There's been other reports they throwing Molotov cocktails, burning up places. They shoot. Yeah, here you go. Molotov cocktails, arson, and graffiti. Tesla facilities are being attacked. That's part of being sedition. In sedition, he's in a governmental office. The Department of Government Efficiency. He's got an official department, and people are fighting against him in acts of sedition. That's his low level. It's going to escalate, though. All right. Let's move on. New super bananas that get old but not brown. Here goes a white man with his frankenfools, making up some more stuff, gene editing into the bananas to, have a long-lasting banana. You usually, you open up a banana, man, the air gets to it. Eventually it starts browning. Now they're talking about they're going to make bananas that will never get brown. You can last. They last forever, man. You can have your fruit salads, so they can start selling bananas mixed in with the fruit salad mixes that they, the pre-made stuff that they send you, or that you can have bought at the store. They got grapes, melons, um, whatever other pineapples, fruit assortments that they have. Now they want to be able to say, well, this is a new thing. We can get we can get the bananas in there too. And guess what? You can even make your own fruit salad, mix them in there, and they'll never go brown by getting exposed to the air or any moisture. Franken foods are here, man. And guess what? They'll be affordable too. You're complaining about the food prices, you're complaining about agriculture and the fruits going up. Don't worry, we got the Franken foods ready for you. Gene edited super bananas are on the way. That never get old. Good Lord. We're in trouble, y'all. The diseases are coming. This is just a reminder. Let's not forget, although we're talking about all this other turmoil, the devil is heavy at work, and he ain't forgot about this either. Remember Peter Hotez, he said in December, the diseases are coming, January 21st, moving on. You keep hearing, and if you look it up, you see the articles, you see the videos, how much more they're talking about. This measles outbreak is bigger than they thought. It's California, it's in Texas, it's all over the place. So they got measles, they got Ebola, they got disease X, they got not anthrax, they got what's the other ones they got? I mean, they still got variants of the vid. I mean, you name it, man. They just trying to figure out which one's going to be the most effective in getting the people in line. Bird flu, and you see here they got a global map, so they're talking about it hitting all over the place. Moving on. Plane catches fire at the Denver airport. Passengers are evacuated onto a wing. Another plane issue. This time in Denver. American Airlines plane caught fire and passengers were evacuated at the Denver International Airport on Thursday, the Federal Aviation Administration says. So go figure. There was just another plane just crashed the other day. I think this was a private plane. I forgot where it was. Yeah, this one in Denver, and then there was another one, private plane just crashed again. So I don't know what the hell's going on with these planes, man. But this is just not coincidence. Something's going on. This is another reason why this place has got to go, and it's daddy in the UK. I mean, look, I'm the first man to fall pregnant naturally, and I want more kids. Now, I should have got the picture of these two damn demons. And this is how ridiculous this is. I'm the UK's first man to fall pregnant naturally, and I want more kids. Can you imagine how they say that? They saying that this man got naturally pregnant. How did that happen? You know how. While the trans debate rages on, two gay dads, Malachi Clark and his partner Charlie, want to show that giving birth naturally to a child and living happily as a family with their son is possible when one of you is trans. Okay. It is a heartwarming story. Can you imagine they got the nerve to say that? A heartwarming story of family life in a leafy English suburb where moms push baby buggies and grandparents help out. But 2-year-old baby A has two dads, Malachi Clark, 27, who is trans. So mind you, this is a female who turned male. Hello? This transmission is a female who changed her name and became trans and goes under the name Malachi Clark. And Charlie Bennett, who's a sodomite. He's gay. Malachi is the first female to male trans man in the UK ever to have conceived a baby naturally and gone public about his experience. Did you hear what this said? This is the confusion. This is the madness that we're engaged in. This is a biological female who is married to a male who says he's a Sodomite. He's homosexual. So a homosexual man married a woman. How does that happen? Oh, but it wasn't a woman. He's a trans man. So that makes the gay man now attracted to her because she's a he. You follow? Because I'm damn near in a twilight zone. This is a female who turned male, married a gay man. And this gay man somehow is attracted to a female because she got a transmission installed. When it's all said and done at the brass tacks, man, this is still a male and female that married each other and naturally had a baby together. So how did this gay man get aroused enough to engage with this female? Okay, I'm good Lord. Let me get up out of here, man. Okay, explaining why he is speaking out. He says, we want people to see there is a positive side to being trans. The media paints us as predators, but we're just a couple getting on with life. We lead healthy, happy lives. I beg to differ, anyway. And we want to be open that trans people can have families. You do have to stop your hormones, but you don't need to freeze your eggs. If you're trans and you want to have kids naturally, go ahead because you can, like we did. Naturally, huh? I'm gonna leave y'all with that. You just see, this is Babylon at its greatest, and the influence of Babylon is spread throughout the nations. They're in the UK, but this is confusion all day long. All day long. Now watch this. This is I had to leave y'all with this one. Trump filmed stumbling up Marine steps as health fears continue to grow. Now, here's the video. You tell me if y'all catch it. And he's walking with Elon Musk's little son, and they've been talking about this heartwarming image of Trump walking with little X to the Marine One airplane. Isn't that so nice? Grandpa Trump. Stop, get the fist, he's walking off. Oh, wait a minute. They stopped and edited. Why didn't they show him getting up the stairs? He's getting up the stairs here. Hold on, maybe I missed something. Oh, they stopped and edited it. The pictures here, this dude is on top of his game. He's seen the hell that slow Biden went through, and he even clowned Biden. And now he's doing the same thing. If last year, you remember when he was trying to get on that garbage truck and he stumbled on that, and he got caught slipping on that. Now he's stumbling, and look at it. It ain't but 4 stairs. How many stairs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stairs, and he stumbled up those. Low to the ground. I've tried to find the video. Everything that I've seen, they all edited, and they don't show him stumbling. This guy is slick. He is slick. But he got caught slipping. But he already put the word out immediately. Anybody shows me falling up these stairs, man, I'm on you. I'm on you. So all of the news agencies start editing their videos, man, and they're not going there. Cold game, man. I thought that was funny, but it just goes to show you too how much he's controlling media, the narrative, and the whole nine. Right? Can't trust what's going on with this thing, man. He told everybody, man, you put that out there, man, you fired. And I'm gonna make your life a living hell. Don't show me falling up these stairs. You know, you seen how much damage I did to slow Biden. Don't do me like that. So there you have it, y'all, man. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Why y'all was man. Another one in the books. Always remember, in closing, the fear of the Most High, keep the commandments. Don't shoot the messenger, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Be well. Take care. See y'all next time. Shalom.